This video right here might truly be the end of Olde Carr Guy. So you've seen the thumbnail, you know what I did. My wife will get over it. Let's go get this car. So there's the car. This is a 2000, no, sorry, it's not. It's a 1997 Lincoln Town Car. It is a signature, and there's supposedly something wrong with the engine. We don't quite know yet, but the price certainly reflects that. Got a little bit of a, what you call a whiskey dent there, another little bit there. But it is a black on black car. It's got the leather interior here and the digital dash. All the stuff basically the same as what you're going to find in any Grand Marquis or upscale car. And all the heated seats and windows and memory seats, all that good stuff is there. The seller's putting the battery in it so we can get the airbags pumped up and get her pulled up to the curb. We're going to load it on the trailer and take it home. And back here we got some spare parts. An amplifier, subwoofer, all kinds of good stuff. The stereo should sound all right. And it's got the full light bar across the back. But anyways, we're gonna get this thing home. We'll go over it a little bit more once we get it home. Okay, so we got the car unloaded off the trailer. We really didn't get a real good look at it, so let's just kind of go around and see what's going on. We do have some rock chips on the front here, some of the colors coming off the bumper, a little bit of water inside the lens. Got winter tires on it. They are Michelin winter tires. They're 16-inch on this car. A little bit of surface rust there, a little bit of blistering coming there, and as you can see, it is a signature series. And on the hood, aluminum hood, but we've got some paint peeling and the clear coat's coming off there. Same thing up here on the roof. Clear coat's coming off of it. And down below, I mean, all the tires, they're fair. I mean, they would pass inspection, but they wouldn't be much good for the winter time. But I think even with the black and the clear coat peeling, we can probably make this thing shine. It does have dual tailpipes. It sounds like it's got glass packs. We'll be able to tell for sure once we get it up in the air. Clear coat coming off the back. She's been sitting a while. She's a little bit dirty. Come around to this side here, and we got your standard stuff here with the gas cap kind of coming down, scratching the paint a little bit. And you know, the rest of it is pretty good. I showed you the little dent in the fender here and little dent there on the top of the fender. Other than that, a little scuff in the corner. Not too bad. The wheels could use a little refinishing. As we come inside, I mean, for a 97, this thing is pretty well equipped. On the side here, it's much like the Grand Marquis. It's got all your controls here for your seats. It's got memory seat, heated seats, all your power window controls, doors, lock, unlock, power windows. You got trunk and your fuel door. That still works. And that still works. And one thing I did notice too, it does have the soft closed trunk, and that even still works. And all you gotta do is just come down, make sure it latches, and the trunk just kind of draws itself down. Gas cap's still there. Back seats are in really good shape. They don't look like they've had too much wear. And back here, believe it or not, in 97, Lincoln's had a cup holder. My Grand Marquis Grandma does not have one in the armrest. Lots of room here. Headliner's in good shape. And it's even got the same steering wheel that Blackjack had. And but the digital dash is a little bit different. It's reading 269,500 miles. And got half tank of gas. Compass seems like it's working. And all we got to be able to do is get this thing to run properly and get it in the shop. No CD player, but it does have climate control as well as all of your message center controls, which pop up on the dash. I guess what we're gonna do is get it inside the shop. We'll get it up in the air, check the underside, and then we'll get underneath that hood and see if we can find anything obvious as to why this thing's running like a piece of garbage. So we'll start up front and work our way back. I checked the front end, everything seems tight up there. Rotor's got some rust. This thing's been sitting for a while. Lower rad hose seems like she's not clipped into place. That should be up there like so. She's hanging a little bit. And this is the old suspension on these Panther platform cars, which used a shock and a coil spring. Everything from I believe it is 03 and up ran the new setup, which was the McPherson struts and upper and lower control arms that are a little bit different than this setup here. But as we kind of come through here, nothing really worries me too bad. The frame all looks good. The transmission pan looks like it might be weeping a little bit. Both catalytic converters are still there. So, I mean, there's my money if this engine thing doesn't really pan out. Floors are all still in good shape. Brake lines look like they're a little bit rusty, again, from sitting. And we look up in here and the rocker panels are in really good shape the whole way back. So nothing to worry about there, I don't think. And yes, she does have some glass packs. It's got the true dual exhaust coming back here. No H-pipe. And it does have the airbag suspension. So the airbags are still there. They do still seem to be working. I don't know where the sensors are. The tag is gone off the differential. We'll look that up and see what gears are in here. Gas tank looks like it's still in good shape. Like she's fairly solid. Trunk pans are in good shape. Rear bumper impact bar. And these quarter pockets here, those are still solid. Thing needs a good undercoating. It's been sitting for a while. It does have a trailer hitch on it, so if you were inclined to want to tow something, you could. I wouldn't recommend it on a car with this many miles on it. But at the end of the day, we still have parking brakes are engaged on this side, and on this, disconnected on this side for some reason. Maybe it just came undone. Who knows? But we'll have to tear into all that. So far, I think I've made a good purchase based on the fact that the car is in decent shape. Let's get up underneath the hood and see if we can find anything obvious as to why this thing is running bad and why it won't stay running on its own. A couple of things to note here is that when this would run, Junior was telling me that we had condensation and exhaust coming out of this side of the tailpipe and nothing over there. And if you kind of look in there, you'll see a little bit of wetness coming through. So what it seems like to me is it seems like it's running on only one bank of cylinders. On these cars, they do have plug wires and separate coils for each bank. It's possible we have a bad bank of coils, maybe. The coil on this side may be bad, or there's something causing it not to run right on half the cylinders. He did mention that there was some sign of squirrels and or mice in there chewing things up. So we may find that we've got some chewed wires somewhere, but we're gonna have to dive into that. Nothing under here looks much different than any other Panther that I've had. Battery seems like it's good. I'm not sure if you can see down in there, but right there he says he just spent $600 from Ford not that long ago on a brand new air conditioning compressor. So he says the air should work if you can get the engine running properly. And the story behind the engine originally was there was something that went wrong. I don't know if it took a head gasket or something like that. Anyways, he ended up having the motor completely rebuilt. And shortly after the rebuild, this problem came along and he ended up parking it. The car has been sitting for a couple of years. Apparently, the license plate shows it expired 2 years ago, but the inspection sticker is still good till the end of the year. So I would say whatever he had done to it, he had it done and had the work done, and then all of a sudden it just started working like crap. He parked it. So let's dive in and see if we can't find anything obvious that's kind of going to give us the problem here. And we'll check the injectors, we'll check the coils, we'll check everything that's obvious and see if there's any just, problem that's giving us with a chewed wire or a frayed wire, or maybe it just ends up being a bad coil. So we're gonna check spark and go from there. So I found this little rubber hose laying down in there. I'm gonna plug this back in. You don't suppose it's just something stupid, simple like that. That's, you know, vacuum loss causing it to run like crap. Suppose we could get so lucky. Anyways, let's try it out. No, I didn't think so. But you got to start with the obvious, so let's keep digging. So we've got our spark tester here. I think Ross to crank it over there and see if we got any spark. That's the fastest run. 7 cylinders. That's strange. So I just plugged that spark plug wire back in, and we'll try it again just to see what's going on here. There she goes. Yep. Yeah, here's some rattling around the front there. I don't know if it's a timing chain rattling or the tensioner. Supposedly that stuff was supposed to have been replaced, but when you give it throttle, it wants to die off. I'm wondering if the plug wires aren't maybe miswired or something. I'm going to check the firing order and see what we can find out about those plug wires. But that seems weird that now it actually starts and idles on its own, but now no throttle. And that noise in the front of the engine sounds like a timing chain. So maybe we are SOL, but we'll keep checking. So I came over here to check the spark on this cylinder here. I don't know if this is number 1 on these Fords or not, but when I went to go put it back in, I noticed that this injector was unplugged. I thought, well, maybe it's just because when I pulled that out, that came unplugged. But it seems to be pretty locked on there good now. So I said, well, let's check all the other ones. Everything over here on this side was good, but when I came over to the other side, I barely even touched this one, and it was just like that. And I went to do this one, same thing. So it might not be a misfire, it might be a starvation of fuel. And you guys all know how good at that I am, running out of gas. That one back there is still on, and that one there is still on, so. I'll plug that in. I'll plug that in. Let's try her again. Go ahead and unplug that first one again. Same first one you did. There you go. So we got lots of fire coming out of these coils, but when we pulled the number 1, or that first one, it comes over here, and there's nothing. It doesn't change the way the motor runs at all. We pulled another one, and it came to this number, this first one over here too. Same idea. So I'm thinking maybe we're going to start with some plugs. All kinds of fire, but it doesn't seem to be changing the way it runs when you pull them off. That one did a little bit. All right, so what we decided to do is get some spark plugs coming. So I'm sending Junior down to grab those, and we're going to get them pulled out here and take a look at them and see if something as simple as a little bit of a tune-up is going to fix our problem here. So let's get these done. So we got the driver's side spark plugs out, and this is the first one, second, third, and fourth, and the 2 middle ones are quite wet. And so I guess that means that they're not firing. So we're going to start with getting these changed out. Hopefully that'll fix the problem. That maybe it'll idle smoothly. Still don't know what that noise is in the front of the engine, but nevertheless. We'll get her running smooth. We'll worry about the noises later. All right, we got the new spark plugs in. Let's start her up. See if it runs any better. That way. Maybe you got no compression. We got steam exhaust coming out of this and water condensation. And the tailpipe's hot. This one here, the tailpipe is cold, cold, cold. So now we're wondering if this side of the exhaust is blocked in there somehow with like a mouse nest or something like that. What do you guys think? Leave your comments down in the comment section and tell me what you think is going on here. We'll see if we can figure it out. So I think at this point, I can't get that O2 sensor out. I'm just gonna get it out of the way. But I think we're gonna cut here behind this cat and drop the exhaust down. And I should be able to get in there with a drill and drill out the guts of the cat and see if that's what's plugging it up, because it seems like it is. Then when we're done, we can weld it up, and once we get that whole thing emptied out, we should be able to start it up and run it and see how it runs then. Right now, this whole bank, there's something wrong. There's something keeping it from the exhaust from going out, and it's causing other issues. I don't know if that would have anything to do with the timing chain making noise or what, but it seems to be backfiring, sputtering, and whatnot. So let's get that cut out. The junior. If you want to grab a hold of that, just hold it so it doesn't fall down on me. I can't see anything in there per se. That makes it look like she's clogged, but we're going to try and gut her out anyway. We got this. Try that out, see what's going to see how she works. There's one hole, just like butter. Just like butter. Well, here's what we're gonna do. We'll set her down on the ground now and fire it up and blow that shit out. I mean stuff. All right, let's get this thing started up, see if it runs any better. Ready? Oh, you had fire. Maybe it's because of that O2 sensor unplugged. I'd say plug it in, try it. So we did get not a whole lot, but we got some cat material coming out of that. But even running it as hard as I did there for a few seconds, I shouldn't be able to grab that, and that's almost cold to the touch. So like there is definitely something going on. There's not much coming out of the cat out of this side of the exhaust. So either we've got some compression issues or terminal. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. I'm going to put this to bed for a little bit and come back tomorrow with a fresh eye on things. All right, so we're back here, day 2, trying to figure out what's going on with this car. We've taken a look at obvious things, vacuum lines, this and that. We checked the plugs, we checked for spark, we did put plugs in it. And where we are now is we can't even get it running because we thought that the driver's side bank on the exhaust was plugged. There was no exhaust coming out of it. After running it for 2 or 3 minutes, you couldn't even go up and grab the passenger side catalytic converters. They were so hot, but on the other side, they were literally cold to the touch. So there's a restriction and or something not working on the driver's side bank. And because we can hear a timing chain kind of slapping around, or what it sounds like on the inside, I'm leaning towards the timing chain may be even broken on the driver's side bank of head valves. So we're going to take the valve cover off on the driver's side and see if we can figure out what's going on, see if the chain is still wrapped around the cam. Trying to start it, it acts like it's out of time, backfiring through the intake, so I'm afraid that we're going to do more damage if we haven't already. These are interference engines, so if the timing was off, chances are we got bent valves on this side. But having said all that, it's looking like we're probably going to have to put a motor in it. Now, Junior's got the 02 town car that we can, buy that motor from him, put in this car. Or maybe there's something else you'd like to see us do as a custom something or other. Put a motor in this, maybe a diesel swap, maybe an LS, maybe a Hemi, who knows? Go ahead and tell me in the comment section down below, should we just replace it? I mean, the car is in good enough shape with a stock 4.6, or should we do something with it? Let me know. Anyways, I'm going to get to tearing this valve cover off. Struggling to get this valve cover out of here because on these cars you got this coil pack here. On the newer ones you don't have it there because they're coil on plug. Normally you just can lift that up and slide it out this way, and get one of the bolts I can't get much leverage on. However, we don't have to go too much farther from here to know that the motor has to come out, I believe. Let me show you why I think that. This, my friends, is the timing chain, and this is the cam gear it is meant to ride on. So if it's not riding on the cam gear, it's not turning the cams, therefore opening, closing valves, therefore not getting any exhaust out of the driver's side of this car. So the good news is I'm done working for the day. The bad news is my $500 car is now going to start costing me money. So I have no problem with that because I believe all day long in its current condition, if the motor was running properly, it's probably a $2,000 to $3,000 car, even though it's a 97, even though it has high mileage, it's in extremely good shape. And in my opinion, worth fixing up. So if I can figure out what I'm going to do about a engine, we'll go that route and figure out what's going on. But for now, I'm just going to button this back up and push it out back until we decide what it is that we're going to end up doing with this car. So I still don't think it's a bad price, but unlike Blackjack, where I bought it cheap and it was a quick fix, this is not the case. So anyways, I guess we'll call it what it is, and that is a piece of junk at the moment. And anyways, we'll get something figured out with your guys' help on what to do with this motor, and if we can find something not Ford to put in it, maybe we'll go that route. If we can find something that is Ford, you know, we'll certainly entertain that as well. And there you have it, guys. That is the 1997, this 25-year-old Lincoln Town Car that I bought knowing it had an issue. I'm surprised it ran at all, and by times it actually ran decent. Not really sure why, but proof you can run a 4.6 on 4 cylinders. Who knew? Anyways, if you like this content, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Make sure you give it a thumbs up and share this out with your friends. We're trying to grow this channel and hopefully hit this Panther platform content real hard on this car. So we've got a couple of things up in the air. We don't know what we're going to do with this thing yet. With a little bit of help from you guys, I'm sure we'll get there. Guys, stay focused on the windshield, not the rear view mirror. I love you. God bless. Let's do it again real soon.